Today, I will be demonstrating connected data processes and insights between Aavenir Contract Management and any ServiceNow applications. For the purpose of today's demonstration, I will be showcasing connectivity use cases between ServiceNow Vendor Risk Management, that is VRM, and Aavenir Contract Management. Aavenir Contract Management integrates with other ServiceNow applications like ITSM, SLM, GRC on similar line. Listed on these slides are some of the illustrative use cases which we'll be covering in today's demo. The first use case relates to viewing VRM information in Aavenir Contract Management. When the business user wants to create any request, they click on Create Request. The Create Request action opens up a request intake form, where the business user can select the type of request, the contract model, and the counterparty. Once the appropriate counterparty or vendor is selected, the business user can click on the information icon to view vendor details. Opens up the Vendor Details pop-up, which contains information from Vendor Risk Management. So, for the purpose of this demonstration, we have configured risk-related fields from VRM like Risk Rating, which shows color-coded risk rating for the vendor, the risk update date, and the risk description. Using this information, a business user can appropriately identify the risk of contracting or creating a contract request with this particular vendor. Also, leveraging Aavenir's single data model, any field from VRM can be shown on this pop-up. The contract manager can even view VRM information across the contract lifecycle by clicking on the information icon. This will open up a similar pop-up with VRM information, which the contract managers, approvers, and reviewers can access across the contract lifecycle. The second connectivity use case relates to connected processes. Whenever the risk rating is updated in VRM, it triggers a corresponding alert to the contract manager and the business user. The contract manager and business users can view these alerts within Aavenir Contract Management itself. So when I switch to the request intake form, I see a notification which says risk rating from IBM Lenovo has been updated from high to very high and the corresponding timestamp. Also, when I switch to the view for Contract Manager or the contract page, I see a similar notification or alert which has been triggered for the contract manager and the other contract stakeholders, which gives the updated risk rating along with the timestamp. This ensures that the business user and the contract manager are not only aware of the risk rating at the time of contract creation, but also throughout the engagement. Our next use case allows creation of contract from the VRM workspace. So the vendor manager can click on Create Contract from the VRM workspace homepage, or they can navigate to a particular vendor. In this case, I select IBM Lenovo Group to see the contracts which are created against that vendor and their lifecycle statuses. If I click Create a Quick NDA, it will open up NDA with pre-filled fields in Aavenir Contract Management. This self-serve capabilities for various basic contract types like NDA and MSA ensures the vendor manager does not have to request the contract manager for certain basic contract type, and this expedites the entire contract life cycle. Next use case relates to vendor obligations and SLAs. Once the contract is in the active stage, the contract manager can click on Obligation. This will trigger Aavenir's proprietary AI model to extract obligations automatically from the contract and assign the corresponding categories and subcategories. This obligation data will be visible to the vendor manager in the Vendor Manager workspace, where the vendor manager can monitor these obligations for fulfillment and decide appropriate improvement plans if the obligations are not fulfilled or if any obligations need to be addressed on priority. The final use case today is about connected insights. Once the contract is in effect or in active state, and any of the clauses have significant deviation, an issue can directly be tagged to the vendor manager. This issue would be visible to the vendor manager on their workspace, and by viewing this issue, the vendor manager can get information as to why this clause has been highlighted with significant deviation and as a risky clause. So in this example, we see that the subcontractor clause has 80% deviation due to low subcontractor liability, and certain subcontractors' limitation are not defined in the clause. And similarly, the data privacy and the security clause has significant deviation with respect to the pre-approved template because the contract is not GDPR compliant. So to action this out, the vendor manager can assign it to the contract manager to review this particular risk and comment on it, or he can accept the risk and include this into the risk model to compute the revised score. Or they can even ask the third party or the internal stakeholder to remediate this risk. So in this case, the risk was flagged to the contract manager, and the contract manager's explanation has been taken into account. This way, not only risk while contracting is captured, even once the contract is active, significant deviations with respect to a library clause can be highlighted to the vendor manager for action and a plan to mitigate those. The use cases we covered today highlight the benefits of unified risk, compliance, and contract management processes. Connecting these processes provides immense value for legal, risk, and procurement teams. It enhances risk visibility, strengthens compliance and control, improves efficiency, and proactively mitigates risk. It's important to emphasize that the use cases we have explored are just a snapshot of our extensive capability. Aavenir's contract management seamlessly integrates with various ServiceNow applications through simple configuration. Thank you for watching this demonstration.